Hello dear students, I am Dr. Garima Srivastava from Lal Bahadur Shastri College, Lucknow. Now moving on to the with the topic of international human resource planning, we also need to overextend on a topic that mobility pyramid is explained. Now when human resource planning process is being explained or is implemented in the organization, we are always considerate about the mobility pyramid. Now we need to understand why mobility pyramid is important. Now when we talk about mobility, it means it refers to the ability of a workforce to seamlessly move from one country to another and succeed, but in businesses and personal lives also. So now if I talk about people who can move from one organization to another or from one country to another, it is important for the success of that particular operation or project that the person is satisfied in that particular country and is well adjusted to the changed climate of that country. So this is referred to as mobility pyramid, where the organization is able to assess the ability of adjustment of the workforce in the different country. So if a company has achieved true global mobility, it can navigate the following aspects of the international workforce. First of all, cultural acclimation. Now cultural acclimation means the people will be well suited to the culture of the changed country. They will be able to adapt themselves to the cultures of the changed country. So these are the people who are flexible enough, who can move to the other countries and perform the various functions of the overseas market. Then employment law. The business knows about and provides all contracts, assignment letters and local legislation requirements. So mobility pyramid will always tell you about, will always focus or point out the various aspects of the employment law of that particular country. So if a higher management position requires an experience of 10 years, so this mobility pyramid will definitely tell you that the person with 10 years of experience who can move abroad very easily and adjust is present somewhere in the organization or is present outside the organization. So you will be able to understand, you will be able to point out that person in the mobility pyramid itself. Then comes global talent management. Through this mobility pyramid, the organization will be able to manage the global talent pool, manage the talent pool of the organization as well as the talent pool which is present in the external environment of the organization. So business has a successful retention plan and career development programs encouraging top employees to join the global team. Now while by maintaining this global talent pool, by maintaining the talent pool of the organization, you are continuously working towards succession planning, career planning of the person, and by planning the career of this person to the next higher levels, next 3 higher levels of the management, the organization is already able to supply or give certain kind of satisfaction to the people. So you will be able to retain them for a longer period of time in the organization. Then immigration. When through this mobility pyramid, the different terms or aspects of immigrations are also become easily. The business comes to know about all secure necessary work permits, resident permits and visas, and of course the people having them or the people eligible to get them will be the pool that can move readily to the other countries for the operations of the business. Then comes income tax and security obligations, social security obligations. The business should always know that all global workers obligations in both home and host country. So whenever we talk about income tax of the employees within the national nation, within the same nation or in the host country, they are very different, because different countries follow different income tax laws and of course social security laws. So if the organization is not aware about these laws, how is it going to make the people aware who are going to move outside? So you need to make them aware of these changed laws and the benefits of these changed laws, so that the people move readily to the different countries. Then payroll. Business managers global payroll with they prepare this global payroll with ease, including payment currency, split and shadow payroll requirement, tax withholding and reporting requirements. Then again, pension and benefits. Business provides all necessary home and pension benefits to the people. Now, relocation logistics. The last point, that is which is very important when we talk about mobility pyramid. Mobility pyramid helps in relocation logistics. That means we get to know the willingness of the people to move to the other country. Apart from this, we also get to know the cost of moving that person to the other country, because the cost of mobility of a person, or cost of mobility of employee from within the organization, from the home country to the host country, is almost too much that an organization can bear. So, sometimes to save this cost, organizations follow a rule that they hire the people from the same country they are going to set up their subsidiary. Now comes the mobility pyramid. Now, if I talk about the mobility pyramid, it has the following 5 parts. Now, at the base or the root level, we have rooted local nationals. Now, functional experts, general managers tied to their home base. Now, these are the people who are least willing to move to the other countries or move to the other assignments within the same organization. So, they are the people who want to stay at one particular place for their whole life or for their whole career. You need to identify these people. Then comes the second, that is mobile local nationals. Now, mobile local nationals, as the name suggests, they want to move, but they want to move within the same country. Though functional experts and general managers prepared for cross-border task force membership, short-term projects and training assignments abroad. Now, if they ever want to move out, they will move for the shorter assignments or short training programs which are conducted by other organizations or the same organization outside the country. But still, they will be also somewhat, their mind frame will also be that they want to root themselves in the same national country where the headquarters are. Then comes regionals. Regionals, they accept short to long term assignments within a geographic region and at a regional headquarter. So, now as we move up the ladder, as we move up the pyramid, more and more flexibility has come. Now, regionals are the people who will accept short or middle term or long term assignments for certain time period, and they will be willing to move within the same geographical area. Now, for example, they may be moving within Asia. So, if we get these people with particular skills, then we are having that talent pool who can move outside to set up operations within Asia somewhere else. Then comes globals. They move around the world on medium term assignments. Now, of course, they also move around the world, but they have not restricted themselves to a particular region, but they move for medium term assignments. That means they still want to come back to their own home country after some time or the other. That means they do not want to stay in the other countries for a very longer time. Then comes at the tip of the pyramid, we have glopats. Now, glopats frequently on the move, tackling short and medium term assignments. They are the people who will be mostly willing to move outside the country and employ their skills to earn more and more in different countries. So, you need to find globals and glopats who are the people with skills, with different skills, functional skills, then social skills, then again technical skills. Now, these people, these two types of people, these two types of employees, globals and glopats, they will be ready people who will be moving out for the overseas assignments. Now comes the types of mobility. If we talk about, we have two types of mobility, internal and external mobility. Internal mobility is the movement of employees to new opportunities within the same company. So, if a person moves within the same company which has started its operation in other country, then it is a kind of internal mobility. These opportunities can include new job positions, supplementary projects, mentorship, job swaps and shadowing. What is the need of internal mobility? First of all, it gives a lot of satisfaction in the minds of the people who are moving out for certain job assignment, and of course, they will be getting some kind of extra remuneration for that. Changes in job structure, job design and job grouping, changes in technology, mechanization, etc., resulting in the encasement of job demand. Now, job demand will ultimately lead to more and more job satisfaction amongst the people. expansion and diversification of production and operations. Now, internal mobility will also help us retain more and more people who keep on learning about expansion and diversification of the products. Adding different lines of auxiliary support activities. We will be getting these pool, we will be getting these activities well upgraded within the organization when we talk about upgrading people within the organization. Taking up geographical expansion and diversification. So, internal mobility is best suited when we take up geographical expansion. So, because internal people are more aware of the culture of the organization and they will be able to build more trust and policy making with making for the subsidiaries that are set up in the other countries. Then introduction of creative and innovative ideas in all areas of management, resulting in the increased job demand. Then again we have enhancement of employee skills, knowledge and abilities, aptitude etc., when we go in for internal mobility. Then changing demands of trade unions can also be help in protecting the interest of their members. Then again if government's role related to human resource development changes, then also internal mobility helps. Why? Because we will be upgrading internal people who are already there in the organization, who are aware of the culture of the organization. They will be upgraded according to the changing dynamic environment of the external environment of the business. Then national economic and business trends and their impact on the job design and demands. Then what is external mobility? External mobility means shifting of employees into and out of an organization. It is defined as a rate of change in the employees of an organization during a definite period. That means you are changing your organization for your upgradation, for your movement, for your mobility or for your some kind of promotion. It measures the extent to which the old employees leave the organization and the new employees enter into the organization. So, if external mobility increases, then that means more and more people are leaving your organization for some new challenging projects outside the organization. Now, what is the importance of global mobility strategy? It has basically global why people move, why mobility strategy is important. It has three aspects: efficiency of short timeline and within minimum friction between the employees. Now, if we prepare our global mobility pyramid beforehand, we will be able to prepare the organization for short timelines where lifeline jobs are not left vacant for a longer period of time. And of course, if the people are recruited on new positions in different country, then a minimum kind of friction comes in between the people who are working over there and their local nationals. Then comes provides consistency for each individual worker's deployment following a similar process. So, if a person is working in a similar field, say a technical field or a mechanical field, he will be more and more upgraded in the same field, and thus we will be resulting in an employee who has a skills in the same particular field, which will be helpful for the organization in future. Then again this strategy will help us make compliance between the home and host regulations. Home and host regulations, it means regulations related to taxations, then moving, then again another kind of expatriation, visas, work permits, all those compliances will be kept in mind while preparing the global mobility strategy. Now, what is the role of human resource planning in the success of international human resource? International human resource planning is the basis of success of any global multinational organization. It enhances the employees' efficiency by it helps to achieve the goals of the organization and meets the need. Now, when people work in the organization, they have their own certain goals, individual goals which they want to achieve in their life. Now, if if organization work continuously towards the achievement of these individual goals, ultimately the organizational goals will be achieved. Now, individual goals will be achieved by providing more and more satisfaction to the people. So, if people are given those positions according to their talents, according to their skills and their willingness to move to the other countries, then we will be able to integrate the satisfaction of the individual as well as the satisfaction of the organization at a level. To develop employees to assume more diverse task assignments, face challenging situations in future. Now, people will be more prepared to take up the different tasks that come up in the external environment of the overseas market, because they are more experienced, they will be handling different activities, different tasks by different strategies. So, of course, they will be more diversified, having more diversified tasks, and these multitasking people are more over required in the organization. Then again, they have better understanding of the cultural variation they come across in the different nations. So, when the people move outside of the organization to some other country, they face a lot of cultural shock. So, if we train them, if we give them a certain kind of developmental program, they will be able to better cope up with the changing cultural environment of that country. Then again, involve in the employee's personal life. Now, of course, human resource planning, if we talk about it in international terms, it always involves employees' personal life. Why? Because people do not move alone. There sometimes families also move, and sometimes family do not move. So, when the families move, it is a concern for the organization that how far the family of the person will be able to adjust to the change of climate of that particular country. Similarly, if the employee's family is left in the home country, then it becomes the responsibility of the organization that it takes proper good care of the family of that employee. Then only that employee will be able to work in a better manner in that changed environment. Then it will help us deal with different groups of employees such as parent country nationals, home country nationals and third country nationals, for which HR policies and practices may differ. Now, that is why we have divided the types of employee in international human resource environment, because the policies and practices always differ for these different types of employees. And then the next point, it will be able to better manage the external influence, that is the host government authorities, businesses and other interest pressures and labor groups. Then again, the next point, lay different emphasis on management training to deal diverse workforce, their orientation and to meet international environment. So, when we talk about the role, it becomes very important, and the role keeps on changing for human resource planning, because it takes into consideration all the aspects, right from the personal aspect of the person till his professional life. Last but not the least, provide guidance on taxation and compensation aspects. Now, human resource planning will always provide guidance on the principles, on the aspects of taxation and compensation, because when we talk about two countries, taxations and compensations keep on changing. Now, the employee needs to be made aware about these changed packages of taxation and compensation when we talk about different countries, because confusion again will lead to certain kind of dissatisfaction in the minds of the people. Now, we have a very good case study where we can we can study from the strategic move that Deloitte did for its expansion in the different countries. Now, Deloitte is a brand under which 10 of the thousands of dedicated professionals in independent firms work throughout the world, collaborate to provide audit, consulting, financing, advisory, risk advisory, tax and related services to the client. Now, it has a wide variety of services that it provides to a number of collaborators throughout the world. Now, what Deloitte did? Deloitte surveyed in 2012 and found out that there is a consensus of opinion regarding top strategic issues. Now, top strategic issues regarding the people, how they have to be placed in the overseas market for organization doing business in global basis. The survey was done for 200 multinational companies, found that top issues were emerging. What were these top issues? Geographical markets, globalization and increased competition. Now, when we talk about globalization, geographical markets and increased competition, all these prepare the organization for the global mobility. The management of global mobility is the key to all three issues. If we talk about it in the terms of international human resource planning, these three issues can be solved by the help of your global mobility. Now, of course, if we are prepared, we in the organization are prepared with the number of people who are ready to move from one country to another, we will be able to meet the challenges of the increasing globalization. We will be able to meet the skill gap that is there existing between the internal people and the people outside the organization. We will be able to meet the challenges of the emerging market, because a lot of competition is there from the substitute markets and a lot of labor workforce is there in the host country itself. Then again, the global mobility will also help the organization to face the different competitions that are being posed in front of the organization in the overseas market. So, this particular global mobility pyramid can also be called as an island, because an island always connects with all the specific issues of an organization. So, Deloitte basically aimed at global mobility, and it prepared its database pool so that it was able to handle the challenges of increased globalization, then challenges of training the people for filling up the skill gaps, emerging markets and the competition that it faced in different markets from the other competitors. In the survey, it was found that the business leaders were failing to address these three issues in most of the cases. So, these three issues are basically those issues which almost every company which moves in the overseas market faces. But if these issues are addressed at a proper time and with proper people, it can be reduced to a very larger extent. Thus, it points towards a gap between the strategic direction of the business and ability of global mobility to help execute this strategy. Mobility and wider concepts of human resource planning help in filling the skills and talent shortages, which are compounding the pain of large and small companies alike. Now, over here, if we look into the basics of global mobility, the human resource planning process department comes into play. Why? Because human resource planning will always help in preparing of mobility pyramid, and it will always help in identifying those people in the organization who are internal to the organization, who are ready and willing to move to the other countries, and also those people who are external to the environment and external to the organization and who are ready to move to the other countries. So, by preparing this particular talent pool, by preparing this database, organization has already bridged the gap between the existing talent and the talent that is required to move to the external environment. Thus, Deloitte, what Deloitte did? Thus, Deloitte outlined 6 main challenges affecting corporate talent and HR. So, it found out that basically human resources will be facing with these 6 kinds of challenges. First of all, rapid business change. Now, rapid business change, it will come from the external environment, from the change in the government, change in the different taxation laws, employment laws that will be applicable on the organization once it moves to the other country. Then shift towards emerging market. Now, if the organization is expanding in an overseas market, there will always be a shift towards emerging market. You need to understand, you need to study, analyze the market in which you are going to launch your product in that particular country, because the country will be having different set of customers with different likes and dislikes. So, the human resource planning department will also see that the people who will be able to handle these emerging markets. sometimes it is often necessary that we take up people from the local markets, local country, so that they better make a kind of relationship between the local market and the organization. Then a borderless workforce. Now, borderless workforce is a very flexible kind of workforce where the national borders are almost negligible. That means a national identity is removed from every of the individual in the organization. If you are working in the host country or you are working in the home country, you are not differentiated, when you come back to your own country or you move from your own country to the host country to work for your organization. So, this kind of borderless workflows will again create more and more satisfaction amongst the people. Specialization, creating new career and job models. So, of course, when new opportunities are available in the overseas market, more of the new jobs, new careers will develop within the organization. So, if this career is given, if this new career block is given to a particular employee internal to the organization, more and more satisfaction will be there. Then new styles of leadership. Of course, people who will be working on the top notches in the foreign country, in the other international countries, they will present a different kind of styles of leadership, and they will be learning, adapting more and more upgraded kind of leadership. So, and by this particular experience and leadership styles of these people, the company can further expand in other countries. Intense competition of the talent. Now, whenever we move outside our own home country, the company always faces challenges from the products that are there in the external market, from the workforce that are there in the external market. So, it should present a kind of competition to the talent within the organization. Why? Because if in the absence of challenge, the people will not be able to grow themselves, they will not be able to upgrade themselves. So, if they face certain kind of challenge, they will be continuously working towards the growth, towards the upgradation of their own skills. So, this kind of challenge should always be there. So, the prediction for 2013 was, managers argued that these drivers will lead to changes in human resources, learning and development, talent management functions in the terms of practices, structures, roles, management tools, processes, data and systems, and it encompasses most of the way in which HR interacts with the business. Thus, it includes move to more agile organization with flatter structure, transparent and integrated talent strategies, have transparent global talent mobility with continuous development, implement global leadership and encourage goodwill. Global mindset, integrated talent practices, policies, approaches globally. Then encourage specialization of jobs and careers, integrate talent acquisition and talent management, invest in HR technology, utilize analytical global talent issues, then give human resource the training and skills to maximize the opportunities. So, these were the basic 12 points which Deloitte took to overcome all the 6 challenges that we were learning. So, ultimately what Deloitte did, it started equipping HR professionals with right skills, ensuring that they are trained in mobility concepts and helping them to have businesses driven mobility conversations, which allow companies to bridge the mobility island and be more focused on business objectives. Thank you.